Greetings artists. In this video I am going to walk you through how to use the textured paper that you have previously created either with paint or with crayon rubbing. And you are going to use those papers to create an animal collage. So you will need another solid piece of paper to be your background, and then you'll need glue and scissors. You could also tear for this project. It's completely up to you. So the first thing that I'm going to do is kind of lay out where my animal is going to live. And I get to choose any kind of animal that I want because this is my art project and I am the artist. So if you looked or read many Eric Carle books, you'll know that he used lots and lots of different types of animal. Sometimes in Brown Bear, there are even people. But he always uses textured, highly textured or patterned paper. So literally anything I want to create will work for this project. So the first thing I'm going to do, I am going to create a seahorse. That's what I decided that my project is going to be. So I can draw this first if I choose, or if I want to, I could just go ahead and start cutting. It's completely up to me. So I'm going to turn my paper over. So I'm going to draw mine first, and I'm going to create just the basic shape for my seahorse. And I might make some shapes on him that I then go back and cover up when I add more details. So I might add some details using this paper, and then those details might disappear when I add some layers on top. And I'll talk to you about that as we go. Like, he's gonna have an eye, he's gonna have fins, he's gonna have a flipper, but I don't need to draw any of that on this background paper because I'm gonna use lots of different types of paper to create him. So when we cut, we wanna put our fingers on bottom on the big side and our thumb on top on the little side. So our thumb points up and we open, shut, open, shut. That's the way we cut. Fingers on bottom, thumb on top. Do not let the paper drop. Open, shut, open, shut. As I go around my seahorse, you'll notice that as I'm open, shutting, and cutting, I always steer with my paper. I don't ever steer with my scissors, because if I steer with my scissors, it gets in a point where it really hurts my hand, and also it will make the blade point at my body, and I do not want that. I don't ever want my blade pointing at anything except for my paper. When I cut with scissors, that is the safest way to do it, is to make sure that the only thing that my blade touches is my paper. Don't ever want to touch my body, my furniture, my clothes, nothing like that, because that would not be safe. So I'm steering with my paper, and you'll notice that I cut the big part of the paper off before I did these small details, because that makes my job so much easier. And if you feel like, this cutting in kind of a spiral would be a little too tricky for you, maybe a seahorse is not the animal that you want to do. Maybe you want to do something that would be a little bit simpler. Or if you're up for a challenge, you really want to try something hard, you're very good at cutting, and you need a bit of a challenge, then a seahorse would be a great choice. All right, so now that I have it cut out, just a reminder about my glue. My glue has a little piece in it to keep it open. So I've got to twist my glue open. And then if I have it right side up like this and I squeeze, the glue might not come out because the glue is all settled in the bottom. I want to flip it upside down and shake it 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and then I squeeze. If that didn't work, if I flipped it upside down, I shook it 3 times and it still didn't work, I would want to close his nose and make sure he doesn't have any boogers that need to be picked. If there's crust on the tip of this nose, that can actually seal it shut, and then the glue won't come out. So if he's got any boogers at all, I've got to pick them or my glue will not work. Mine was good to go, so I put a little glue down the center of my seahorse, and now I'm going to decide where I want him on my page. Now, since the paper that we're gluing on, if the paper that we're gluing on is painted paper, like what I'm using right now, it might be a little ripply. because when we paint on paper, it's wet, and then that causes the paper to wrinkle. So I might really have to hold my project down and press and use my body heat and pressure to really make it stick, because it's going to want to pop up off the page. If I let go and it starts to pop off, I know I need to hold it down some more, or I might even need a little bit more glue. If I accidentally get a bit of glue on my body, I just rub, and turn it to dust, okay? All right, next I'm gonna start adding my seahorse's details. I think I would like for him to have a blue eye, and so I'm just gonna cut a little corner off my big paper. I don't need a super large piece. And I'm just gonna churn and cut to make his eye. Now, Mrs. Cross has been cutting for a lot of years, so I made that look really easy. If you need to draw a circle on your paper first and then cut on your lines, that's absolutely fine. That's what I would have done when I was in kindergarten art. I'm going to put a dot of glue, since this paper is so small, I'm going to put a dot of glue on my project where I want it to go. I'm going to drop it in and stick it down. I know that that glue is going to have some seep out the sides because it's so small. So I'm just going to make sure I keep my hand back so I don't make any messes. All right, I think that I also want his fin, or maybe the plume, his kind of like hair. I want that to be blue as well. I want it to match with the eye. So what I'm gonna do, I cut a long strip, and I'm just gonna come in here and I'm gonna cut some bumps. And let's see, just like that. Yeah, and I don't really like the top one on there, so I think I'm just gonna let it go. I'm gonna trim it off. So as I work, if I need to trim a little bit, that's absolutely fine to make it look the way I wanna make it look. And I may even come in and cut a bit of a curve. There we go, I like that better. All right, again, this is kind of a smaller piece, so I'm gonna draw a line with my glue on my project, and then I'm going to set the plume or his hair right in it. Tap, tap, tap. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted. All right, next, I might also make maybe a little fin back here. Let's see. His back is kind of curved, so I'm going to cut it to a curve. And then cut these pieces out. And I can just, honestly, I can make this look however I want to make it look, because this is my project. This is my seahorse. All right, this is a bigger piece, so I'm going to put the glue on this. So essentially what I'm doing now, friends, is I'm just going to use my pieces of cut and patterned paper, and I'm going to start adding details to my seahorse. Down here, I think I'm going to cut some purple out here. I'm going to add some polka dots. So I'm going to cut some kind of half circles. And again, if I wanted to draw these on first, that would be absolutely fine. I'm going to make it curve a little bit. There we go. So I'm just kind of trimming and working as I go. I'm just going to lay these out so I can speed my demo up just a little bit. I don't want you to spend all of your work time watching me. I want you to actually get to create on your own. So again, I'm just using the papers that I've created, the textures that I've created, and I'm making any animal I choose. Excellent. I think I might also want to make a nose out of this purple, so I'm going to make it smaller than the eye. There we go. Ooh, I like that. Yes. All right. And then I might use my last piece of paper, I might start creating some maybe seaweed. So I'm going to kind of cut this in a wavy line like that. And then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to make it double wide so it looks like seaweed. And I could even, if I had cut this piece out before I glued my seahorse down, I could make it kind of go behind him. Or maybe, nope, it stuck down really well. I was gonna say maybe I could peel him up, but no, I don't wanna rip him. So I could glue my seaweed in the background like that. I could also use my pieces. Let's see, I really like this blue color here. What if I took this blue color and cut a circle, and those became bubbles floating in my ocean. So again, friends, I'm just using the textured and patterned paper that I created either with paint or with crayon, or both, and I'm gonna create any animal that I would like inspired by Carle. Happy creating.